I agree. So real quick, what I'm going to do here, so you guys can see this. All right, real quick, can you guys see?
Yeah.
Yes.
All right, so this is going to be um, about macros. Now, of course, given when it when it's all said and done, whether you lose weight or gain weight, it's all depends on calories in versus calories out. Basically, how many calories you're eating a day, how many calories you burn a day, relative to your body type, your exercising, and then just how often you move, metabolism, and other things go into that. But macros are what makes up the food. So they are an essential nutrient in food. It basically is your energy. There's three types of macros, and I'm sure you've heard of them before, and it's protein, carbs, and fats. So the important thing about macros is you have calories in things, and there's diets that have probably had you track calories and just calories, which could be good and bad. Bad being you don't know what some of the macros are in those calories since they do make them, um, and that's what they total to. So when you cut calories, you could potentially be cutting out significant macronutrients out of your diet. And when you cut one out, like some diets are no carbs, like the keto, or there's, like an all fat diet. When you cut out major macronutrients out of your diet, you will be malnourished, you won't feel right, and the diet just won't work, period. So we're going to educate you on proper macros because these are the building blocks of calories. Once you know these, you're good to go. So with that being said, we are going to go into the first macro, and that being protein. So just for number's sake, 1 gram of protein equals 4 calories. So if something says it has 200 calories in it, the calories are going to be brought up by the protein, carbs, and fats. And you're going to know the numbers in here and how many calories are in, each gram of each macro so that you can make these up. You can set your own macros depending on how many calories your body needs to either lose or gain weight, whichever one is your goal. Of course, protein, it builds muscle, repairs tissue, helps with soreness, recovery, and honestly, when you put protein in your diet, you feel satiated. It fills you up. You never hear somebody sitting down and eating, 5 to 10 pounds of meat in one sitting because it's too filling. It's a lot of protein, and that's what it is. So as long as you have protein in your diet, or if you're not feeling like you're eating enough, you always feel hungry, then you're probably lacking protein in your diet. Best thing to do is right after a workout is get a little bit of protein in, relatively 20 to 30 grams of protein. That can be a bar, smoothie, a drink, maybe a meal if that's what you like to do straight after a workout. Some protein sources are going to be your obvious chicken, fish, beef, eggs. I prefer egg whites. That's what is in the meal preps that I offer. Um, I was just discussing with Lanny today. He asked why the yolk, was there any specific reason as to why we do egg whites? It's because once you eat 2 full eggs, you're already at your cholesterol limit for the day. And if you're tracking your nutrition, the app will tell you that you're very high on your cholesterol and you're probably past your daily value. That's why I always do egg whites. It's much easier to probably buy eggs. This is a side note. Just buy eggs and then separate them in the best way you can rather than buying the egg cartons of egg whites. Those are way too expensive. um, okay, so tofu, soy, yogurt, beans, lentils, things like that. Those are going to be your protein sources. Now, protein and carbs are the same as far as the calories that are inside of them. So 1 gram of carb is 4 calories as well. So if something has, let's say, 5 grams of carbs in it, in calories, that's going to be 20 calories. All right. Now, so the role of carbs is basically to give you energy. It's your energy source. This is what is going to fuel your workouts, fuel your day-to-day life, your energy levels. There are a few different types of carbs. There's simple and complex. So there's simple carbs, which are your juices, your fruit snacks, candy, fruit, like your quick sugars, your simple sugars. And then you have complex carbs like rice, pasta, bread. Those are going to take a little bit longer to digest, and your body's going to get that energy for a longer period of time. Whereas if you eat an apple or let's say half of a cup of orange juice, you're going to get that energy much quicker, and you're probably going to get a crash with that because your cortisol levels skyrocket, and then you get the crash because they've went up way too high. Um, Now, some carb sources, again, like I said, oatmeal, bread, pasta, whole grains, these are going to be your complex, russet potatoes, any sort of potatoes, really, fruits, veggies. And then, of course, on the other spectrum, candy, syrup, those are all carbs too. Carbs are sugar, okay? Um, and another fun fact, the way they find calories in food is they burn food. They burn the food, and that's how they find the calories. Um, cool. So now fat, 1 gram of fat equals 9 calories. So it's a little bit higher than your protein and carb macronutrient. So this is the reason why peanut butter or you see olive oil, peanuts being high in calories, very high in calories. 1 tablespoon of olive oil can be, 1 to 200 calories. That is because there's higher calories in 1 gram of fat than there is in 1 gram of protein or carb, that being 9 calories. Um, so yeah, secondary source of energy would be your fats. So if you have a diet and you're cutting out all of your fat because you think fat makes you fat, your energy levels are going to crash. Your libido is going to go down significantly. Your sex drive will tank, and you're going to feel miserable. So this is very important that you keep each macronutrient in your, daily routine, your daily nutrition habits, so that you can get every single nutrient needed for your body to be running on all cylinders. That's why, again, I don't preach any diets. I preach, what you enjoy. So if you like ice cream at the end of the night, if you like coffee in the morning, let's say you like the donut shop on the way to work, there's ways you can fit those in and still be healthy, right? As long as you know what the calories and macros are in those, you can start to adjust your nutrition as needed and fit those things in that you like them, guilty pleasures. So these are going to help with absorption, hormone productivity, brain health. That's why, like, when you have sore bones, you need some more brain mental clarity, you'll have omega-3s. You can also get your fat from supplements like fish oils, omega-3s, your fatty acids, like that. Now, sources of fats in food form would be, of course, like earlier, olive oil, butter, avocado, coconut, fish, eggs, again, nuts, seeds. Fat does not make you fat. All right. Being in a caloric surplus will make you gain weight, and then in turn will cause your body to store it as fat. So eating fat, eating peanuts, eating things with fat in them, again, will not make you fat. Eating more calories than your body takes to burn will cause you to gain weight, and then in turn will turn that to fat. All right, so it is, again, a game of calories in versus calories out. Now, the conclusion of that being, again, all three major macronutrients are important, and it is optimal for your body to function at 100%. It doesn't matter who you are. Like, it all is the same as far as nutrition and how the body works. So I recommend you consume all three, and you don't cut one out. You don't try diets that are cutting out all carbs or all fats. When you do cut out a significant portion of a macronutrient, your body will show that over time. So again, moderation is key. This here is going to be in the final solution course. I'm going to post it in the Facebook group as well so that you have access to it right away. But this is a good source for you to navigate towards. Once you're, I guess, putting together your grocery list, you want to set out your day, or let's say your week. You want to make sure that you're hitting your nutrients correctly, you're hitting your macros, then you can use this as a guide to help you. This is the new resource that I made. So you will have access to that, both of you.
Okay.
Cool. Any questions?
I've got one question about as far as figuring out the macros.
Okay.
Like with me, the stuff out of the garden, how do I figure out how much is so many calories? Like
Your
a
best
tomato.
bet would be to, once, like, let's say you have your stuff canned or you're getting peppers out of the garden, cucumbers, onions, whatever it may be that you're, growing. Once you have it, I would say if you're tracking religiously and you're doing it that route, I would probably find the closest thing to it on the search engine. So like if you're doing tomato sauce from the garden and you already have it measured out to 1 cup, I would probably find the closest one to it, like a ragu or something like a natural one that they have under the search engine for you to track, just because obviously it was out of the garden. It was probably more natural than ragu. But ideally, as long as you're still painting the picture, we're good. But if you're like not tracking at all, then obviously there's nothing for us to figure out, go from, piggyback off of. But as long as you're, you know, like an apple, you can look up a medium apple, just something that's closest to it. Or if you need to go into the store and grab whatever it is off the shelf that's closest to whatever you're growing, scan the barcode, you can do that.
Okay. Yeah, because that's what I did last year with the salsa.
Did that work?
It gave me, but it told it because of the one that I did, they have a lot of sugar and stuff in it too, a lot of added stuff that I don't put in. So it gives me a ballpark when I'm recording it, you know.
Okay. Awesome. And did you feel like that helped you when you were doing that? Like,
It did, but if I stuck to portion size, yes. Not the 9-inch plate, 2 inches deep, full of chips and
there you
salsa and
go.
cheese. You know, if I'd have stuck to a normal portion instead of that, it would have been easier too.
Right.
So
All right.
that's one
I
of
see.
those, like I was telling you today, I've just got to figure out, get my portion sizes back instead of just grabbing what I want to grab and go.
Right. I see Emily raising her hand.
I'm practicing for class instead of blurting out because
Cool.
they're not supposed to do that at class.
Were you doing that?
Huh?
Were you doing that?
What do you think?
Did they call you out on it?
Um, very nicely, yes. So when it comes to fruit,
Okay.
what is your thoughts on that? Because I always see like that it's just a crap ton of sugar and that you're not supposed to have too much, but like I could eat fruit all day and that's it. I know there's no protein there and I have to have my protein, but I could seriously eat the shit out of some fruit.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a simple carb, so it is sugar. Bottom line, the like an apple and a handful of Skittles, like it's the same type of carbohydrate that
Oh,
they both are made of, and it's a simple carb. Now, like rice would be the same equivalent carb as an apple if they were the same portion sizes for them to be the same amount of calories, but them are going to be different types of carbs. Obviously, the rice being complex, you can eat too much sugar, too much simple sugar. It's going to send you into obviously the boost in cortisol, and then the crash. You're going to feel probably tired. because of it. As long as you're moderating your fruit, I'd say a cup and a half a day. Apple probably filling up 3/4 of that, just one
Yeah.
apple. But again, moderation. As long as you're tracking it, the app should tell you and give you a warning if you're going above your sugar limit, because there is, sugar intake. Sugar isn't a macronutrient; it's a micronutrient, so it doesn't, create any calories for you, but it is important as far as your health, cardiovascular, your blood flow, and essentially your heart. But yeah, you can't eat too much sugar. Fruits don't make you fat though. The sugar and fruits don't make you fat. Eating fruit isn't bad. Too much of anything's bad.